What is going on, Weekend Hangover crew? This is your boy Preacher bringing you another episode. Today, I'm going to talk about my skins. You know I like to talk about them whenever I can, even though I am a little harsh on them. And today is one of those episodes I'm going to be a little harsh on them, which is the quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, his future, and what I think about in the position going forward. Now, I did not think Dwayne Haskins coming out of this year's draft was that great of a quarterback. I thought he had a lot to learn still. I thought he was still pretty raw at the position, even though he did have a great season in college. But I did think he still needed a lot of things to work on. Proves it what is going on this year with a 55% completion rating, 3 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He's only thrown for 200 yards once in his NFL, last couple of games. Most of them have been, I think, only twice, maybe 3 times he's thrown over 150 yards. Does not look pretty good. Now you can say that it's also because of our offensive line because he's been sacked a lot throughout his little short career. But I also think there is multiple things that he could have done to prevent some of these sacks. I think he's not reading defenses too well. I think he's not reading coverages or anything of that nature. I don't think, now this is a lot to take in from a rookie quarterback, but I don't think he's doing things that a normal quarterback would in changing, protections or anything of that nature. And yes, you could say that is a lot from a quarterback, especially a rookie quarterback just coming in. He's only started a couple of games. He's only played, I believe, 7. But I also gotta say I gotta blame some of it on Dwayne Haskins because when he was not the starting quarterback and he was the backup, you would see sometimes where he was just not paying attention on the sidelines. Most of the time, you see backup quarterbacks. They're over there in the starting quarterback's ear. They're looking at the plays. They're over there looking at the tablets of what he could have did different. We saw it with Daniel Jones multiple times. We saw it with a lot of backup quarterbacks throughout the history. I did not see that with Dwayne Haskins. Most of the time when you saw him on the sideline, he was nowhere next to the coaches trying to learn anything, which that was one of my downfalls of him that I had talked about before. That could have helped him for when he became the starter. There's also a lot of he say, she say about him not learning in the classroom or even on the field stuff or reading coverages and all that kind of stuff, which I do think is one of his biggest downfalls. And the fact that he does not read coverages, I'm not saying that they're not throwing different things at him, but there's certain things that you can read. Hell, I can read the coverages when I'm sitting at home on my TV and not having the defense in front of me to where I would personally change different coverages and help out with him getting sacked and protections. Now, also, some things that I do see when he is throwing the ball and it's making very inaccurate passes to where he's underthrowing or overthrowing receivers on the deep route or just being very inaccurate passes to begin with. He does not seem to throw off his front foot. He seems to make very very easy throws look awkward. And I think that's because he's not stepping into his throws. Most of the time he's throwing off his back foot and he's hopping off his back foot, even though he's not feeling he may be feeling the pressure, but even though the pressure is not there. I think he just needs to relax. I think somebody in this organization needs to get on him and get on him hard. I understand that there may be a little thing where coaches don't want to get on him because he's kind of in favorite with Daniel Snyder and all this kind of stuff. And it's a whole RG3 bullshit debacle all over again. I don't want this kid to turn into DeMarcus Russell, and I'm kind of seeing DeMarcus Russell tendencies, RG3 tendencies where he's getting away with a lot of things. Nothing's being said to him because I'm sorry, if I was the head coach or even the offensive coordinator, shit, even a fucking, water boy. When I saw Dwayne Haskins when he was first having his first victory, he didn't even go out in a victory formation because he decided that he was going to go take selfies and all this kind of stuff. Now, we've seen a lot of flashy quarterbacks come in the NFL throughout history. We've seen Baker Mayfield. We've seen all of these other kind of, players. I have never seen a quarterback not go out into victory formation unless it was a Super Bowl situation or something like that, and that's a whole different story. Not for a first fucking victory of the season, even though the rest of the team's season looks like shit. Have I ever seen a quarterback go over to the stands and take fucking selfies during the game? Shit, there was still 20-some, 30-some seconds left in this damn game, and he was all fucking celebrating the whole goddamn time. Anything can happen in a certain amount of time. Luckily, we ended up winning the game, and it all just got pushed over. I think like I said before, I think he's still very raw. He needs a good quarterback coach to put him into place and kind of show him basically the ropes. I understand he doesn't have that right now. We have multiple quarterbacks being hurt and all this kind of stuff. But I hope the rumors are not true to where he's already got a big head and he doesn't think he needs to learn anything from these other quarterbacks that are in our, locker room. Because I still think Colt McCoy and Case Keenum have both been in the league for quite some time. They have a few things that that Dwayne Haskins can learn from him, even though they haven't had successful careers, but they can still teach them, little nooks and crannies of how defenses rush, what to look for, how to look for a blitzing corner, any of these kind of things to help this kid out. And I hope, like I said, I hope it's not true that he's just not listening to it. And that's pretty much my thought process of the whole thing. Now, I keep hearing that Alex Smith may be looking to play still in the next year or two, which I don't know how I feel about that situation. Don't get me wrong, I think Alex Smith is a great quarterback, or not great, but he was a pretty good quarterback, especially when he came in for us. But this has been a couple of years where he hasn't played, especially coming off a terrible injury. I don't know if I would bench Dwayne Haskins for that. Now, Dwayne Haskins really has not proven anything to me, but like I said, this will be another year or two before Alex even comes back. As far as the other quarterbacks that are on our roster, I think Colt McCoy is basically just a teaching quarterback. I think he could be there to teach Haskins. Case Keenum, I don't think is going to be there next year. Now, I don't want to see my organization pull off a Arizona Cardinals situation from last year where they drafted Josh Rosen and then turn around and draft Kyle Murray in the first round. I don't want to see that happen. I thought it was a bad move from the Cardinals, but it has worked out from the Cardinals. They moved from Josh Rosen, who's sitting on the bench behind Fitzpatrick, and Kyle Murray is putting up pretty decent numbers as a rookie quarterback. I don't want to see that. I kind of want us to teach Haskins, because otherwise it would just show that we made a bad decision picking him up in the draft. And I think we do need to build some more of this offensive line. Our receivers are starting to show up a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see what can happen through the next year or so. But if you have any other comments or want to talk about anything, throw it down in the comment section below. And always throw us a thumbs up. And if you want to be a part of the Weekend Hangover crew, subscribe to us. And until the next video, peace.